Hey guys, it's Chris. I just wanted to make a correction to the dodge tech video I released a week ago. Link is in the description if you haven't seen it. In that video, I said that the Spider Queen Cobweb AoE puts a bleed and slow debuff on you. That is incorrect. It is actually a poison and slow debuff, as you can see from the icons here. I always get confused between these two debuffs because they're both very similar. They're both damage over time debuffs. But yes, the bleed icon is a triple blood drop and the poison is a single drop. So that was my B. I apologize for getting the debuffs wrong, but just note that everything else in the video is correct, except the bleed mistake. It is a poison and slow debuff, not a bleed and slow debuff. The second thing I wanted to talk about is the new Asagi Mutsuho supporter. So since the Spider Queen Cobweb AoE puts a poison and slow debuff on you, you can now use the Butler Asagi and Mutsuho supporters to gain complete immunity to those two debuffs. So this is the build I came up with, and I'm going to try it out against Spider Queen when she comes around in VR again. So I'm using Rin because I really like Rin, but for supporters we're using Mutsuho for poison immunity, Butler Asagi for slow immunity, and New Year's Hebiko to inflict the poison debuff, which synergizes with Mutsuho to increase skill damage against poisoned enemies. So this build counters the Spider Queen Cobweb AoE. Now you might be wondering, okay, so we have immunity to the Cobweb AoE debuffs, but what about the damage we get from the Cobweb AoE? Well, since we have a green supporter in the main supporter slot, we can recover HP using Volt Spin. And of course we use Electric Volt to group up the adds and take them out easily. So this build specifically counters Spider Queen. One flaw with this build is that the DPS is low, because we don't have that many damage increasing supporters, but I predict that this build will be amazing for tanking Spider Queen. So another character I wanted to test this build on was Tokiko, so we're using the same supporters except we're using Massacre Kurenai in the main supporter slot. For skills I'm using Stone Piercer for the Clairvoyance buff, Squall for the Clairvoyance buff, and Autumn Wind for the Clairvoyance buff. The cool thing about this build is that we have complete immunity to poison and slow. We have healing from the Massacre Kurenai supporter, as well as the Renewal weapon, and we have the Clairvoyance buff from 3 skills, and the Clairvoyance buff gives us a defense increase as well as super armor. So this build sounds like a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to testing it out when Spider Queen comes back. Now, you might be wondering, well, how viable is this build with Butler Asagi and Mutsuho? And my initial thoughts are, this combination will not be that great, because you are sacrificing a lot of DPS just by using these two supporters. I think it will still be better to use damage increasing supporters and then use dodge tech to avoid the Spider Queen Cobweb AoE, rather than lose so much DPS just to be immune to poison and slow. So that's what I think. But that is it for the correction follow-up video. Thanks for watching. If you like this, take 2 seconds to hit that like button. If you want to see more content from me, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.